The courtroom fell silent. A young black teenager stood trembling, his future hanging in the balance on a single word. The judge leaned forward, eyes cold, voice cutting through the tension. Life. The word struck harder than any gavel. But this wasn't the end. This was the beginning of a storm. What no one in that room realized was who would answer the teen's desperate phone call. Injustice had found its victim, but justice was not yet finished speaking. How does one word change a family, a nation, a future? Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Darius was only 17, a high school senior with dreams, bigger than his small hometown. He loved basketball, science, and late-night talks with his dad about college. His record was clean, his teachers spoke highly of him, and his friends saw him as the one who'd make it out, the one destined for something more. But in his community, being young, black, and ambitious came with invisible chains. Police cars slowed when he walked home. Store clerks watched his every move. To survive meant carrying a constant awareness that the world didn't see him as innocent. Still, he pressed forward, holding tight to his father's words. Education will set you free. That ordinary Friday night, when laughter filled the gym after practice, no one could imagine how quickly his freedom would be stolen. The walk home that night would become the darkest chapter of his life. The flashing lights appeared suddenly. Red and blue illuminated Darius's face as two officers stepped out, hands already hovering near their holsters. "Where are you coming from?" He answered truthfully, "Basketball practice." But they weren't listening. A robbery had been reported nearby, and Darius fit the description. Within minutes, he was in handcuffs, his protests drowned out by radio chatter. Evidence was scarce, but that didn't matter. The system needed a suspect, and Darius was convenient. A frightened teenager became a target. Days later, in the courtroom, the prosecution painted him as a threat. The jury, primarily white, barely looked at him. His lawyer struggled against the tide of bias. Witnesses who could clear his name weren't called. The trial moved with ruthless speed, as if the outcome was already written. His mother sat weeping, his father clenching his fists. Darius kept wondering, was my skin the crime? When the judge's voice thundered, "Life, the weight of generations pressed down," shackles clicked on his wrists. The air in the room felt heavier, suffocating. And then, in one fragile moment of hope, the guard gave him a phone call. Darius dialed the only number that made sense. His father picked up. What came next would shake the system to its core. On the other end of the line was not just a father, but the sitting U.S. Attorney General. For years, he had guided his son quietly, shielding him from the spotlight and never revealing the full extent of his position. But now, hearing his boy's broken voice, everything changed. That courtroom ruling wasn't just a mistake. It was a declaration of war on justice itself. The father's voice was steady, powerful. "We will fight this." Behind him stood the weight of federal authority, an army of legal firepower ready to expose corruption. The system that had crushed countless lives had chosen the wrong family. For the first time, the gavel's echo trembled, not with power, but with fear. Would America finally be forced to confront its reflection? The case unraveled quickly under the national spotlight. False evidence crumbled, officers' testimonies collapsed, and the quiet prejudice of the trial was laid bare for the world to see. Darius walked free, but not unchanged. The scar of injustice cut deep, a reminder of how close he had come to losing everything. Yet his freedom became a symbol. His story echoed in protests, classrooms, and dinner tables across the nation. It wasn't just about one boy. It was about every black life misjudged, every voice silenced, every dream nearly stolen. The question still lingers. How many lives must be ruined before equality is more than a promise? What about you? What country and city are you watching from? Take care.